Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Band Trading Cards. And we have a guest for today. He is the creator of the new trading card game called Titan TCG. And let's welcome Mauricio Fernandez, also known as Mike. Hi, Mike. How are you?
How's it going? How are you, Ben?
I'm good. I'm good. Well, many viewers, my subscribers wanted to know more about like new trading card games, and they want to know more about the creator. That's why I need to ask you about your background, maybe a little bit of that.
Yeah, of course. Um, I've been well. I've spent most of my career in sales and marketing for the last 25 years. I'm on the older side of some of the creators. The creators I've seen now are younger in most cases, or mid range, 20s, 30s. I'm actually in my 40s already, but I've been in TCG since Magic and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh's been around since around the 90s. Been an active collector primarily. I played the games, and I've really just sat down with people across tables and played. I've had a lot of fun throughout the years. But my actual background is primarily in sales and marketing, and I've worked in the last 15 years. I've worked with many technology companies like Google, Facebook, and Samsung, and so on.
Mhm.
But now I kind of wanted to take my passion for TCGs and take that and bring that into reality, which is what we're doing with Titan TCG.
Mm-hmm. So is this your first game design?
This is our first game design, correct?
Mm-hmm. So please give us a little bit of a story on how you come up with this Titan TCG.
Yep. So that's actually very interesting. So years ago, I've always played an online game called Grepolis, which is around surrounding gods and deities and favors and mythical creatures. And I've played that for the last probably 15, 16 years, along as with other games. But I've always been fascinated by mythology, not just Greek
Mm-hmm.
mythology, but just mythology in general, whether it's Norse, whether it's Egyptian, whatever it may be. I've always been a big fan of that. So in 2018, I came up with the concept of like, well, I've seen other games out there in kind of the same kind of mythology space.
Yeah.
How can I do it better? And how can I do something? So I've been working on it since then, on and off. Obviously, with managing a career and a family, you have to kind of balance everything out. But 2020 and 2021 became big years for us to really take a deep dive into the game itself. So, but yeah, I've been again looking at the concept, creating the concept since 2018.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I've seen like I went to the website and also to the Discord, and I've seen like all gods and goddesses, right? Oh, and then some creatures of Greek mythology. And it makes sense because your name is Orestes, right?
Yes,
So, so,
yes.
um, do you have the uh, like the what is the lore of this game? Is it based on the Greek mythology, or you have your own lore?
No, it is based. So this particular portion of the game, the first set, which is called Pantheon of the Gods, is based around Greek lore mythology. But
Mm,
it doesn't mean that's where we stop. Like this is the first set. Then from there we go to Norse mythology, we go to Celtic, we go to Egyptian, then we go into Persian, then we go into many more
ah,
mythologies over the
mm-hmm.
next several years. So we actually could build sets for the next 25 years easily
Yeah.
without, we could get into into the Asian mythologies, we could get into
Wow.
the
Okay.
South American mythologies, we could get into North American mythologies. There's so many different avenues that we can explore. So, but the game is what we do is I'm a historian of time. I love reading about history,
Yeah.
and so we follow the lore and the mythology very closely in this game. And there's an aspect of this game that we want you to have fun, but at the same time we want to educate you.
Oh,
We want to
yeah.
educate you about the different gods, who they came from, who their kids, who their fathers were, who their mothers were, where they came from, how they contributed to the lore and the mythology itself, like Hercules, for example, or as
Mm-hmm.
he's really called, Heracles. So we're sticking very close to the actual mythology and everything that history book teaches about these gods and creatures. So
Mm-hmm. And for this expansion set, I think the first expansion, right? Alpha, how do you call this? Alpha or first edition?
well, first edition, it'll be first
First,
edition, but we're
okay.
doing something a little different for first edition. Is we're doing it in we're gonna be doing it in kind of like blocks so basically block A and block B, or series 1, series 2. So
Mm-hmm.
first edition will actually be split up in 2 blocks. We'll have the first portion, which will be about 150 cards. And that's going to bring you into the lore of the early on Greek mythology lore. And block A, which is still, block P, excuse me, which is still first edition, excuse me, will take you into that second half of Greek mythology, which is more into the Roman times of Greek mythology. So basically, it's just one big set, about 300 cards, broken up in 2 parts.
Mm-hmm.
We'll release one part, and then 3 months later, we'll release a second part. That way, it gives people once people start getting a little bored with the first set and they've already built,
Yep.
we just give them introduce them another portion of that same set 3 months later. And so that's the hopes there.
So okay, who are the main characters on this set?
So there is no really main character. You can play with any celestial, any god that you want.
Okay.
There are decks that we're creating based off of Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon.
Mm-hmm.
But these are just more introductory decks, like decks to kind of introduce you to the game, which is our theme decks. But there is no like primary god. You can battle with anybody. And the cool part about the game in the future as well is that you can battle with other gods from other mythologies. So you can take Zeus and you could fight with Anubis, or you could take Zeus and fight with Thor. So that's all going to be interchangeable, and you can actually take bits and pieces from each mythology and kind of create a deck around that as well.
Mm-hmm. So what are the other characters of this we expect on this set?
So you're going to have pretty much all your main gods, your 12 Olympians, which is Artemis, it's Hephaestus, Apollo, you have Kronos, you have, and then some of the beasts. You obviously have Medusa, you have the Minotaur, the Kraken, the Hydra, the Griffins, you have Pegasus. You have so many different options to choose from as far as whether it's creatures and or celestials. At the same time, you're going to have a slew of different artifacts and equipment that you can bring onto the game to assist you in the battle within the game. So
it's like to buff your power, right?
To buff the power, or to either act as a counter to an attack, or as like a defense mechanism. So there's going to be different things there that you should be able to use to counter certain things, or to add on to certain characters or creatures. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you play this game? For other TCGs, you play as a hero, right? And then other TCGs, you champion or whatever.
Yeah.
So how do you play
here? You play as a god. You basically have what's called the celestial plane. The celestial plane is where you put your selected celestial. So if you're Zeus, you're playing as Zeus. Okay. We're still kind of tweaking some things here, but right now we start you off with 30 life points. And 30 life points is what each player gets on opposite ends. And you're obviously your strategy or your objective is to take that 30 and bring it down to 0. Unlike other games, this game doesn't end when you run out of cards. Because because this game was designed, when I thought about it, I want to design more like chess, where if there's still strategy on the board and you make some moves, then you're good to go. Now, if you run out of moves and you also run out of cards, then that's probably the end. But that hasn't happened yet. Of all the testing we've done, most people always get down to 0. Somebody always get down to 0 at some point. With the many hours of testing that we've done so far. So that hasn't happened. There hasn't been any stalemates yet, which is pretty good.
Yeah. So how many cards in a deck?
51 cards.
51. All right. And
51 cards. There is no, so our game, there is no energy cards. The energy or what's called in our game elemental energy is self-produced by the actions you do on the game. So it's kind of similar to like what's that called? What's the name of that game? Very similar to Final Fantasy, which has kind of like that self-generating energy system where you basically earn energy as you battle, or you can also pitch or sacrifice, what we call it, and you can also earn energy there. But what's unique about our system is that we have introduced a 6th resource, which is actually, I think, one of the most important resource systems in the game, which is called devotion. Or faith. So when your creatures battle for your god, they earn devotion. So they earn devotion to be able to call out more celestials into the battlefield. So for example, go ahead.
So that's a resource, right? You mean?
That's an additional resource. So we have
Oh, okay.
the five elemental energy resources, which are the five elements that are part of the game,
Uh-huh.
which is excuse me, which is water, air, water, air, fire,
Yeah.
darkness, and earth. Those are the
Mhm.
five elementals. But then on top of that, you also have devotion, and devotion is used again to bring out more celestial creatures into the battlefield. Whether it's you can bring out Cerberus, which is Hades' hellhound essentially,
Yeah.
and he's considered a celestial because he's so powerful. So you could again earn devotion to be able to summon someone like Hades or Cerberus or other celestials. So even though you have one main celestial that you're kind of in the celestial plane, you can bring other celestials out to the battlefield as well. So it's not just one.
Okay, so are
No,
all celestial have their own how you call it, like type of like Earth? What's the type
no,
of
no. So actually, all celestials are all. So since they have their own, since you need devotion to summon them, they all
mm,
kind of fall into the celestial realm. So they don't have like a they're like you can play them with pretty much anything. You can play them with earth, you can play them with fire.
oh, okay.
Like obviously, if you think about it, right, logically, you say, well, I
Yeah.
want to play Hades, I might play
Mm-hmm.
him with fire because he's the lord of the underworld. So I might play him with fire and play him along with the fire deck. So you can mix and match. Like you can actually in
Oh,
our system, you can
yeah.
have 2 or 3 different resources in your set. You can have a set that comprises of fire,
Mm-hmm.
air, and something else, or just 2 elements. You could do fire and air, or you could do water and earth. So you can combine the elements to kind of create a multi-elemental deck, essentially.
Okay, so you can mix all cards in different
Yeah, you can mix
types,
those
right?
cards. Obviously, you don't want to go
Nice.
too far off, and you don't want to make. You don't want to. I think you want to be able to have cards to pull from. So you want to. We've tested up to I think up to 3 different elements in the deck, and that
Mhm.
seems to be okay. But you don't want to go maybe beyond that because it's just then you're gonna have a less card pools to
Yeah,
pull from. So that's all.
and the devotion will be difficult, right?
Well, the devotion, no, the devotion is not difficult because devotion is earned. You earn a devotion every turn. Every turn you earn a
Ah,
devotion, which
uh-huh,
means that because you're going to go to battle, you're going to perform some sort of action.
uh-huh.
So think about if you go to church and you say, "Oh my God, thank you, please help me with this." So you're going to go out and perform an action that's going to earn
Yeah.
you devotion. Now, there is a way also to sacrifice that particular. You can pitch a card and say, I want to pitch, you know, I want to pitch this card and I want to, discard it, and so that's going to earn me now 2 devotion points because now that person sacrificed or that character sacrificed itself for the god. So there's all the ways to earn devotion as well throughout.
So,
We also have
mhm.
what's called like a backup system, or what we call it energy system, where you can put certain cards in backup, and it earns you. That's how you earn your devotion. That's how you earn
Mhm.
certain things throughout the game. So
So the devotion will accumulate as we go.
the devotion accumulates, but again, 1 maybe 2 per turn at most is not going to overly accumulate because we want to make it fair and balanced for
Mm-hmm.
everyone accumulating it. So you're earning 1 at most because there are cards in the game that allow you to earn 1 more per that turn.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of them. There's only a few, but most of the time it's just 1 devotion per turn.
So are creatures dependent on the devotion? Like,
Negative, no.
is this
The
the
creatures,
cost?
the creatures just depend on the elemental costs. So, for
Ah,
example,
mhm.
when you put, like I said, when you put on backup or an energy, you put let's say you put, let me give you an example. You put, uh, let me see. I would probably say, let's say you put a gladiator, and the gladiator is part of the water element. So as long as you have on your backup or your energy there, it's generating 1 elemental energy every turn as well. So
Mm,
basically you can take that energy. So most cards to summon a card, you don't need, it says 3, for example, like the cost is 3 to summon them to the board, but you only need 1 of that same element. And then the
yeah.
2 can be a various combination of, water, air. So I would say I would always explore. Like I said, there's the rules are there, and I don't want to make it sound so difficult because it's
Yeah.
really not. It's actually pretty simple. But basically, you can always the system. You can always be generating both energy, and you could also be generating devotion. So you never run out of that resource. Is basically the system. Just to kind of sum it up, it's easier. So you always have resources to draw from. You never run out of resources. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And can you describe the game components on the arena, like
Yes.
decks. Yeah, can you
Yeah. So
explain?
basically, your zones in the arena are you going to have your discard or your graveyard at one end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you'll have the deck zone where you pull you pull cards from the deck. So every turn you take 2 cards. So you're going to take 2 cards. So every time you go out and you finish your phases and you end your turn, right before you end your turn, you take 2 cards from the deck, set the deck area there. And then you have the celestial planes. Celestial planes where you put your deity, your celestial, that is your kind of, you're basically playing the game. So it could be Zeus, it could be Hades, it could be whoever you want is going to be in that celestial plane. Then in the middle, you have your energy, which is where your backups go to generate energy each turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then we have something on the very top where we now have what's called realms. So for example, a realm card will allow you to place a realm on the board, and that realm then the effects of the realm will affect both players. So if the realm is Olympus and it has benefits, and you're playing Zeus or you're playing characters that will benefit from that, then you will take benefit from that. But maybe your character, or maybe your opponent, because he's using Hades, he may take benefit from but negative benefits from it because
Oh,
it's
okay.
Olympus. So
Mm-hmm.
the realm card actually can either do you harm or it can
Yeah.
give you benefits. And at the same time, the way you get rid of that is that if the other player has a realm card in his hand, he could bring that other realm card. That realm card replaces the other realm. Eventually, we may change that mechanic in the near future, where we may actually give the realm cards HP, so you can actually attack the realm directly. So that's still something we're kind of playing around with a little bit here and there. But yeah, the point, and so I think that's pretty much all the zones. You do have another zone over here on the left side. Then you obviously have your battlefield. You have your battlefield itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much it. There's not a lot of zones because it doesn't really need to be. We want the attention to be on the battlefield. And again, you'll be able to pull, you'll come in the game with a pre-constructed deck that you built, and you'll be able to kind of pull from that throughout the game. Each game, you're probably going to ask this, but I'm going to just let you know, each game right now probably lasts between 20-25 minutes each match. Sometimes 30 minutes.
That's fast.
Sometimes a little bit longer. If you're a casual player and you're talking and you're having fun, which happens a lot, then it can take you a little bit longer. But most like competitive playing, like OP and competitive play, average about 20-25 minutes. If you're kind of just casually playing, it may take you up to like 30-45 minutes or so, maybe an hour. If you're a new player, it may take you a little bit of time. But what we've seen so far is that most new players that have played the game, that are familiar with like Magic or Final Fantasy or Fab or other games out there, pick up this game very quickly within the first 1 or 2 games or sessions of playing.
Okay, so this is played with 2 players, right? Can you play it more than 2?
We are working on a different system now called Clash, and Clash will allow you to play up to 4 players. But that's still being developed right now. It's a head-to-head game, very much like a Magic Commander deck, where your Commander deck is you're playing head-to-head. And so right now it's set up for head-to-head combat, but eventually we are looking to expand to do a 4-player. You could do up to 4 players at a time.
Oh, okay. So I've seen the card, and there's like on the lower right is like the 6/5. So how do you battle with another creature?
Yeah, so basically you have and I wish I actually have some somewhere and I could show you this because I do have it somewhere. I don't know. Oh, here, this is one of our older cards, but our older kind of here, I'll bring this one in. So basically I'll show you this. I don't know if you can see it, but this is one of our old sample cards. The lighting might be a little bit off, sorry, but basically, yeah, so you have your defense and you have your attack there. So obviously your attack is your first, and then defense is that. So 6/5, you have a 6 attack, 5 defense. And basically how you attack is you basically go through you have a couple phases in the game. Your
Mm-hmm.
first phase is to announce whatever positioning you're doing on the board, whether it's you're calling out, summoning a new character,
Mm.
you're shifting, you're tapping or untapping a particular card. But basically it's like you would any other game, right? You attack a creature head, directly.
Yeah.
Now there's certain dynamics in here, and that would take a little bit longer to go into, but I would encourage everyone to then see our rule book that will be available on our site very soon, because there are certain abilities that the Celestials will have and
Mm-hmm.
other creatures will have, like splendor and haste and flying and all these different
Mm-hmm.
abilities that are available for, depending on the deck and depending on the element that it represents, that can give certain creatures this. But anyways, so it's pretty much straightforward. So you have 6 to attack and you have 5 to. So if you attack someone that obviously has 4,
Yeah.
4, whatever the case, then that 6 will take that. Now your character still survives because your character still has life points.
Yeah.
So that character survives the board. Now, the only way that can be changed, if, for example, you bring out Zeus to the board. So by
Okay.
the other way, that's the other thing too. You can have up to 3 of each card in your deck, in your hand.
Uh-huh.
So you have 3 Zeuses. You can have 3, Krakens. You can kind of mix and match it however you want, but you can have up to 3 of each character, or element, or artifact and or spell of the game as well. But essentially, let's say, for example, you bring out Zeus, and Zeus has splendor ability, which and then also has a text that says, when Zeus comes to the battlefield, it says eliminate or all creatures that your opponent holds that are that have damage die. So basically, he comes to the board and everything. If your creature has damage to it because it survived an attack,
Mm-hmm.
then that automatically kills the other creature automatically, because there's other things like the Kraken. The Kraken comes into your game and it says it freezes all creatures on the board. That means even your own. Like the Kraken comes in and release the Kraken, and it freezes everything.
Nice.
Like everything just stops because he's there. He's a very powerful card in the game. Very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much I could go on and on forever with this. But I'm just saying that we now started putting out more videos on YouTube for gameplay.
Yes.
So people can see more of that there, and they can see more of it for themselves. We're going to be putting more things out there around like deck building and things that you can actually do and see. So there's going to be a lot of really cool dynamic. I'm trying to move this out of the way because now the sun is finally coming up.
Oh, yeah.
So you caught me where still not, sun wasn't even up yet, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of fun things. And and then next week we're also opening up. Next week meaning I don't know when this video comes out officially, but next week. In a week from now, we're going to be releasing the TTS into the workshop space, so people can actively play that at any time. They can play the game. So that's going to be coming up.
Actually, that was my next question. So the
Well,
TTS...
I beat you to the punch. I beat you to the punch.
What I think. All right. And so you said 6/4. The 4 is
it's
dice,
defense,
right?
Yeah.
And what happens to the extra 2? Is there any trample thing like Magic?
Yeah, there's trample. There's trample in there.
But
yeah, there's
it's not
trample
for every creature,
not for
right?
not for everything.
Okay.
Not for everything. I wish I could pull up, because there's a lot of things that we still got in production and being made. And we're also putting together. So a couple of things I'm putting together is we have a pretty good rule book already out there that's still it's probably in its version 3.0 right now.
Yeah, you can give me the link. So
I'll give you the link so you can have that. Yeah, absolutely. We're building an actual deck list of like in a book, like the one you see in Pokemon and ETBs. When you kind of open up the ETBs, you have a little book that shows you all the different cards you have to collect. So we're doing something like that as well, for our cards, so people know, well, this one comes in hollow, this one doesn't come in hollow, this one comes in standard, and kind of also has all that breakdown there as well. But yeah, so there are a lot of abilities that each of these characters and or Celestials will have that will give certain things. So it will add on. So you can have 6, but you can, by the time you add on, you can have 8, or you can add to your defense. So there's so many different dynamics to this.
And you can add a combo for each
add
character.
a combo. Correct.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. This game, again, the game itself is the combination, I would say, of 4 different games. We took what we love about 4 games and we threw it all together, and then we devised like our niche, which is a devotion system in the game. But we took, a lot of things that we loved about Magic, a lot of things we loved about Final Fantasy, a lot of things we loved about uh Pokemon. We took basically when we first started looking at building this game, we took all the things we loved about other games and we said, how can we make it better? How can we make it more fun and more appealing to us as players? And I think we did that with the mechanics that we have in the game now. And that and that mechanic is only going to get better. Obviously, this
Yeah.
is our first run at a game. We think that it's pretty good now because we have people that are having fun right now. With the game, we went to CollectCon Orlando. People just loved the game. We were probably one of the few companies that were actually still doing that were probably doing gameplay. I didn't see anybody else doing gameplay. I think maybe one other company was doing gameplay
Mm-hmm.
out there for the game. But people have fun, and that's what it's all about. For me, it comes down to, this is not, if you forgot about how fun these games are, then maybe you're in it for the wrong reasons. And I want people to have fun with our game. I want people to sit back down in our in their kitchen, on the kitchen tables and play the game. I want people to sit down with friends and play the game. I want people to visit a local LGSs and play the game. And that's what it's all about. Like, there is an aspect of collectability in the game, obviously, because we have to keep that balance there. But for the most part, this is about having fun. This is about having fun with friends and family and bringing back that, that tabletop, sit down,
Yeah.
environment there, which now I feel like it's kind of been lost a little bit because everybody's like, oh my God, I need to get this card and I need to do
Yeah.
this. And I need to, I don't, we want people to say, and I know you're going to ask me about this in a little bit, but we want people to have fun and have access to the cards,
Mm-hmm.
and at an affordable price point. So,
Yeah, that's my second question, which is the card rarities and the finishing.
yes. So the card rarities we're going to have in this particular first set, there are 5 different rarities. You have
Mm-hmm.
common, uncommon, rare, ancient rare, and epic rare.
Okay.
So ancient rare, so obviously common, everybody knows what that is. Uncommon rare. So the ancient rare for our game, there's going to be 4 cards in the game that are going to be 4 cards from each of the different things. So there's going to be a celestial, there's going to be they're still considered a creature, but they're kind of our champion, like a Hercules or an
Mm.
Achilles or something like that. There's going to be a creature, and then there's going to be a realm. So 4 of these cards are going to be considered ancient rare, which means there's only going to be 100 of each of these in the set, and they're going to be scattered throughout the set.
Yeah.
So 400 total cards scattered throughout 495,000 cards. So
Oh.
you're gonna have 400 cards scattered over 495,000 cards, because that's how many cards we're producing for the first between the booster box and the blister packs.
Mm-hmm.
Those are how many cards, and you can also find the ancient rares in the blister packs as well. So not just in the booster box. So 495,000 cards. So you only got 400 of those cards out there in circulation, and it's going to make it very rare. Then we're
Yeah.
adding a box topper to the booster box. So these are only for the booster box, and that one's going to be out of 50. And it's going to be, we've actually already announced what it is. It's going to be an alternate Hydra, and the alternate Hydra is called an epic rare, and you can only, there's only 50 of those in 2,000 boxes. So that means the number is about 1 in 40 boxes will
Yeah.
have the epic rare. Yeah.
Oh,
So very
nice.
rare. And then obviously the rares themselves. And then the way that we do our hollows, it's 1 in 4 hollows,
Mm-hmm.
1 in 4 hollows per pack. So every four packs will have
4
a hollow
packs.
card in it. Yeah. And it's going to be a full hollow card. And it could be a common, it could be an uncommon, it could be a rare. We're going to mix it up the hollows. The hollows are not going to just be rares. They're going to be, it could be an uncommon card, it could be a common card. It could be anything in any combination of the 3 rarities of common, uncommon, and rare.
Mm-hmm. Will you have a special finishing like cold foil or the etched foil of magic?
We are doing, obviously we might do some cold foil stuff with some of the things. We're still looking at some options there. There might be some texturing that we might do on some cards, but for this first set, again, the first set, I think the objective is to get it out to the public, to get people playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
and really to get people familiar with the game. So I think that we will have a lot more time and opportunity to do more things in first edition and beyond. So I think for this one, we're going to keep it. We're using a very good core. We're using a very similar stock to like a Pokemon stock for our cards. In fact, actually, we're going one level up. We're using something called Black Core, which Pokemon uses blue core, and we're going to use Black Core, which is one level up from Pokemon right now. So it is also going to be 320 GSM, which is the rating of basically, if you think about thickness and grade quality and everything, 320 is a pretty good grade to be in for card stock. So we wanted to give people an opportunity so they get a nice card, and a card that doesn't bend, especially if there's a foil out there, a card that's going to have a nice balance to it. And so that's one of the other things that I'm really high on is quality. So making sure that quality is there for every card.
Mm-hmm. Can you give us also the timeline of your product or expansion sets?
Yeah. So basically, right now we're shooting for May release of our Kickstarter set. That's the hopes. Now, with everything going on in the world, we hope that doesn't create any delays for us. But so far, I think we're probably good. We haven't heard anything just yet from our printers.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a chance of that because the Ukrainian war, everything that's happening around the world, supply chain issues, and so on. But we're hoping that doesn't affect us. Now, our plan is to release in May for Kickstarter, then release first edition in August. So August will be Series A, or Block A or Series A will release in August, and then we'll release Block B or Series 2 in November or December. So we basically want to do a 3-month release in the future. We want to release a block every 3 months. So that way, when you get the first block and you start getting a little bored and you're like, oh my God, I already played all these different decks and I already built, we're introducing a new deck at that point.
Okay.
So basically, if we release 2 sets a year, those 2 sets will be released in 2 blocks. So you basically have 4 releases in a year. Is basically the way it works out.
Okay. So,
and by the way, I forgot to mention, there's never going to be a second edition either. We would never do second editions or unlimited. That would never happen because we don't. It's all going to be first editions because the sets are so big that. And then we're also, and I know you're probably going to ask about this, and I might as well tell you now. We would never also mass produce anything just because we feel like doing it. We're going to take an approach very similar to Wise Shorts, which is printed demand, but we'll add like additional 10 or 15% of buffer to that. So basically, if we print the demand, let's say the demand is 15,000, 20,000 boxes, then we add another 10 or 15% on top of that just to have a little buffer. Because we never want to overproduce or overprint if we don't need to, because then that just devalues that. We obviously want people to have access to the product, and that's why we create that buffer there as well. So
you said there's no second edition. So will you be printing like a first edition on the box or just nothing?
Yeah, first edition on the box. Because what happens is, so we love our backers that backed our Kickstarter campaign. We love them, and one of the things that they got for being a backer is that they got access to a coin, and this is a physical coin. And that coin, as long as they have that coin, and as long as they're a backer, they're going to get access to certain things that we release. For example, when we do a first edition box, there's going to be 2 iterations of that first edition box. There's going to be like for Pantheon of the Gods first edition, there's going to be the Alpha box and there's going to be the Omega box. So the Alpha box are only going to be about 3,000 boxes or less that backers will have access to first. And they'll have access. So only backers will have access to that. So backers, partners, certain people within that work with us in the beginning will have access to those Omega boxes, and everybody else will have access to the to the Omega boxes for after that. So basically, there's nothing different in the card. The difference is in the box. The box outside will have a little Omega symbol, or will have an Alpha symbol in the back on the outside of the box. But it'll just be more limited, especially for collectors that want to keep it sealed. Which I encourage everybody to open it, but that's just me. But if you want to keep it sealed, that's how you'll be able to tell. You have an Alpha box, Omega box.
Okay.
Symbol.
What? Is Alpha box in the Kickstarter and Omega, or is
no.
it?
So basically, everybody in
Can
Kickstarter
you
is just getting
explain it
Kickstarter.
more?
So so Kickstarter, the Kickstarter box is just all Kickstarters. It's not.
Okay.
It's like Kickstarter first edition essentially,
Yeah.
but it's not like the first edition product, which will be out in August. That'll be Alpha. So there's no Alpha, there's no Omega. So basically, everybody is getting Is getting
Mm-hmm.
Kickstarter products is just getting the same Kickstarter product for the beginning here at the beginning in May. And then beyond that, the same Kickstarter folks that backed us, the 208 people that backed us, will have an option to get the alpha boxes for first edition. And so
Oh,
all they need to do is that same coin. The reason I mentioned the coin is the coin has a serial number on it, and
yeah.
they reference a serial number, and that serial number will give them access to those boxes.
So there's like a utility of the coin.
Correct. Yeah, the
Yep.
coin will have utility. It will give you access to discounts. It will give you access to early access to product. It will give you access to certain private events that we'll do in the near future.
Yeah.
So if you have the coin, you'll have that utility as well. And we are working on something else. I'm not going to talk about it too much now, but we are working on a social token, kind of like an NFT, that will give
Nice.
people also a utility as well in the near future. So that's still kind of TBD, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And are all these cards printed in US?
So we have a printer in the US, yes, but we also have a printer in Canada. And we have printing partners also in China. So we got partners everywhere. But for this
Oh,
particular set where
okay.
we're using either it's gonna be a combination of the US and Canada together, working together
Yeah.
to get the sets together, because there has been some supply chain issues with card stock and things like that. And that's affected everybody. I know a lot of creators, and they all kind of have run to the same problem, same issue, with availability of products, availability of supplies to
Yeah.
make the cards, and that's become a big issue now worldwide. So sometimes we have to depend on multiple countries to kind of give you the what you need to be able to fulfill your orders. So
Oh, yeah. So you said you have three printers, and for collectors, how
yeah.
do you know that this one is printed in US, in Canada, or China?
Well, you really don't, because they're all kind of made from the same quality. Honestly, the only difference
Mm-hmm.
there would be, so it's okay. So let me put it like this: what we're getting done by each of the printers is not cards. So somebody's going to just do the cards. Somebody might just do the packaging. Somebody
Oh,
might do
okay.
something else.
Got
So
it.
yeah. So it's not going to be like whoever produces our cards will be the same person. So you're not
Okay.
going to see cards produced by multiple printers.
Yeah.
You're just going to see maybe packaging produced by one printer, cards produced by another. The the rule book and maybe some other stuff, whatever the case, produced by somebody else. So it's just that combination of what I was referring to.
So how about the next sets? Will it be the same?
The next sets, yeah, it's gonna have to be the same. We are working with a company now that is trying to launch their own like full on production here in the US, and
Mm-hmm.
we've used them in the past for some of our other things, and they're incredible folks over there. So we're waiting for them to ramp up. Once they ramp up, we may just kind of do all of our printing with them, and they're here in Southern California. So we may actually just do everything with them, but we're hoping again to always keep it in the US. But the realities are that because it's, at least right now, with the supply chain shortages and some of the things, that might make it a little difficult. And my big thing is to make sure that we deliver on time.
Mm-hmm.
And so whether we get it done here, obviously we're always going to look at quality, and we're always going to check samples, and we're always going to look at like samples we're getting from different printers, and we're going to make the best decisions for ourselves, which obviously translates to our customers, so customers can have the best possible experience with our products.
Yeah.
So
How about the quality control? Do you have a person going to the manufacturer
yeah,
or
we have well, we right now travel is still a little bit restricted in certain places. So we are constantly requesting samples of this product, and we're getting that shipped pretty much, within a couple of days, overnight or
Mhm.
pretty quickly, so we can check the samples of everything before we green light what we want to do, and then just, approve it or deny it, and just go back and say, hey, we want to check this because we feel that there was a lot of edging or whitening, or maybe the quality of the paper wasn't there, or whatever
Yep.
the case is, because we inspect everything very closely. um and as you can tell, we work very closely with DSG. So if DSG, we send DSG is actually not too far away from us, and we might send them some stuff and says, hey, can you check this for us and let us know what you think about the quality, how the gradable quality
Mm.
of this product. And so they also may check that for us as well.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
we're always making sure that the quality is always there in every little bit, whether it's a box, whether it's a thin seal packaging, or if it's the cards themselves, we're checking for quality all the time.
Mm-hmm. So you said you were in the sales marketing. Are you 100% in this game already?
What do you mean?
Like you're working on it 100%,
Oh
or
yes,
you
yeah.
have
So
it
August of
part-time?
last year, last year, I left my job, which was a pretty good job. I left my
Mm,
job. I used to work for a company developing IoT or smart home products for the home, and
yeah.
I was the global director of sales and marketing. So I had teams in China and
Mm,
teams in South America and here in the U.S. as well. And I left that job in August of last year to pursue this full time, and I've been doing this full time since then. Yeah.
okay. So do you have how many members are in your team right now?
So we have Sebastian, which is the head of game development. We have Albert, which is my game design architect as
Mm-hmm.
well. We have my partner Steve, which is the COO. So he kind of does COO and he also does risk management. So he makes sure that we're always covering our butts legally, whether it's
Yeah,
contractually or whatever the case may be, or even our cards, making sure that we're not infringing on any other copyrights or trademarks.
yeah.
So he takes care of all that. We have Stevis, or I like to call him Stevo, which is the head
Mm-hmm.
of art. He manages the 10 other artists that we have on the team right now. And then we have Mr. Jock Black, which is the head of events and social outreach. So he does all of our social outreach and just coordinates our events like Collecticon or whatever events we're doing. We're doing an event with an LGS or whatever the case is. He sets, he coordinates all that.
Mm-hmm. So
And I
it
believe I
means,
covered everybody off. Yeah.
do you have full-time artists, or you get them by commission?
So we have a couple that are full time, a couple that are commissioned. So we have a
Mm-hmm.
combination of the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So regarding distribution, so
Yeah.
are you in the usual distribution like distributor, then LGS? Are you
No,
in that system?
no, I don't want to get there. Actually, I want to. That's my approach to that. I've worked a lot of distributors in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm I'm gonna put this lightly because I know people are gonna watch this video, and I just know that there's certain practices that I don't agree with that distributors have, and so for that reason, I know I'm probably gonna reach out to Universal Distributor, which is in Canada, and I think they
Mm-hmm.
do a great job up in Canada.
Or Prince, right?
What was that?
Prince, Prince
Yeah,
distribution.
yeah. So I might use like someone in Canada. I think the Canadian distributors do a really good job, but with the U.S. distributors, unfortunately, sometimes hold product back and they kind of try to leverage certain things when I don't really like that. So
Uh,
our approach is going to be direct to consumer. So we're going to sell direct to consumers from our site, but we're also working with directly with the LGSs. I think our LGS partners are going to be our biggest and strongest opportunity to get to the community,
mhm.
because these guys, they don't want to just sell a product to people. They want people to play the game in their store, or they want to develop new clients. And so working with LGS directly gives us opportunity to basically to go directly to these communities. I can't tell you how many times that I've seen other games and people tell me I can't play this game because nobody plays the game, or no, or LGS doesn't have it available. And
Yeah.
so we want to work with LGSs very closely. And so that's our three models are going to be this. It's direct to consumer, it's LGS, direct to LGS. And then lastly, to get into the international marketplaces is going to be Amazon FBA. So Amazon,
Oh,
fulfilled by Amazon. We want to be able to ship products to Germany, ship products to Canada, ship products to wherever it is, and have them fulfill the product directly in our storefront that we'll have with Amazon, which is already set up. We just haven't launched it yet officially. And that way, if you're in France or in Germany and
yeah.
you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get the product in 2 days, maybe 3
Oh,
days.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So that's going
fulfillment.
to be another model. And then eventually, when a distributor does approach us, like I don't mind working with micro distributors, smaller distributors, because I know that they really want to get your product out there. They really want to work and get the product. But these bigger distributors, when 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 we're ready and they're ready to do business together, then it'll be more on our terms, not on theirs. We want to make sure that we have the ability to dictate how we want our products to be presented and or distributed through them, whether it's PSA or PSD or GTS or
Mhm.
Southern Hobby, any of these companies out there. We want to make sure that if you guys want to sell Titan, we have to work together to make sure that we do it right. And that's the thing there. So
Yeah, okay. So the model will be in the US. You'll be going direct to the consumer, right?
Or through an LGS. So you can find LGSs as
Ah,
well.
LGS.
That would yeah. So we already have in the US alone. We already have about 35 LGSs, maybe 40 LGSs that will
35.
be
Wow, many.
carrying Titan. Internationally, we have everything from Vietnam to Indonesia,
Mm,
to the UK. A few LGSs that we are already working with.
mm-hmm.
Australia, South America. We got a few people in South America as well. So they're going to be directly at LGSs. And the great part about that is that LGSs, they get a better premium, better cost value there instead of having to go through a distributor and buying it. So we remove one leg of margins. So basically, instead of going from like, here's our pricing to distributors. Distributors has their pricing and pricing
Yeah,
to the
correct.
LGSs. We cut the middleman out and we give the LGS the best possible pricing, so that way they can, they again, most of these LGS are small mom and pop. They're owned by
Correct.
an individual or a family. So we want to make sure that they survive, because
Yes.
that's the future of hobby, right? Is to have
Mm,
these local community stores that people could come and buy and play the game. So
100%.
yeah.
Um, how about Philippines? You did not mention.
Oh yeah, no, the Philippines. Actually, we have some amazing people in the Philippines already.
Oh, nice.
Um, and so the Philippines. So one of the things that we're looking at in the future, and I know the Philippines, a lot of people that speak English in the Philippines,
Yes.
but one of the things we are looking to do in the future sets is create multi-language sets as well.
Mm,
And that's probably going to be more like with the five main languages out there. So maybe something Mandarin,
yeah.
French, German, a Spanish, obviously, which is
Yeah.
going to be a big thing there as well. And we hope to do that in the near future as well. Um, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of plans. There's even a digital game version of this game planned as well for the future.
Oh, wow.
So there's so many different things that kind of combines with the current physical card game. So there's just so much stuff that we're planning for the future. But yeah, I can't forget about my people in the Philippines, because especially Manila is such a vast community. And I know a lot of people that
Mm-hmm.
actively
Yeah.
play in the Philippines. So I'm gonna be one thing that we're creating. So one thing that I invite anyone here watching this video to definitely check out our Discord, because we have a new program we started called the Seers program. So we have oracles. Oracles are more our advanced players, people that have been playing this game since the beginning, and they're basically almost like masters, like teachers. They're like Yoda,
Mm,
the Yoda of Titan, right? But they're called oracles. And
wow.
then we have seers. Seers are like our brand ambassadors. So if you're a brand ambassador in any country around the world, even in the US, and obviously in the US as well, you can apply to be a seer, and then you get special products from us. So you can take it out to LGSs and play with people at LGSs, the game. So we basically want to create this program to allow people to get into the local LGSs and play the game with other people, teach
Yep.
people the game, entice the LGS to carry Titan. So these are the type of things we want. We want to have it. So that registration form is out there. If you join our Discord, which is really simple, discord.gg/Titan TCG.
Mm,
You can join our Discord page, and all the links for things like that are there. And you could join the SEAL program. There's, I encourage everyone to do that, because there's going to be certain things that you'll have access to early on,
mm-hmm.
like before sets come out, that allow you to go into the market and entice the LGS, or entice
Yeah.
people in the LGS to say, "Oh, I got to come on and play Titan." Now, obviously, we are planning tournaments. We are planning other things in the near future, when it comes to like competitive play OP stuff. So that's going to be coming in the near future as well. But one thing I will tell you is that we will never do something if we don't feel that we're ready to do it. So if we are even slightly behind of something, I'm not going to push something
Yeah.
unless I know it's ready. Because again, at 44 years of age, I'll be 44 this year. I've learned one thing is patience. And if you can just take a few extra, time to get something done and do it right, then you'll get such better results from it versus just rushing something.
Yeah.
And so that's something I've learned with time. And so I'm super excited that the game is going to be coming out, and everything we're doing is with the player in mind, the collector in mind, and just our community in mind. We want people to really attach themselves to this, because they're going to see this mature over the next couple of sets. They'll
Mm-hmm.
see this set come out, they'll see the Norse set come out, they'll see the Celtic set come out, they'll see Egyptian come out, and it's just gonna be so fun to see all those sets come out, and then also play all those sets intertwined together. Like that's
Yeah.
going to be also amazing to see that as well. So
So do you have because content creators have their own community right now. So you can see in the Discord and they play with each other using cam. Um, so are you are you open to a retailer program for content creators?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I was talking to my guy over at Ted's Basement, my guy
Mm,
Ted, and I was saying that we're also going to have a content creator program, and the content creator program is going to allow content creators that kind of are affiliated with us to have access to certain products, certain things, so they
yeah.
could either talk about it, whatever. So we're actually going to have a form available, I think starting Monday, tomorrow, that content creators can fill out. We'll they have to go through kind of like a vetting process. We'll vet them because we don't want to just say, "Oh, I'm a content creator and I got 2 subscribers." Like we got to vet the content creators. We got to make sure they're legit. We got to make sure they're active. We got to
Yes.
make sure that they're positive in their messages, because we don't want to. One thing for us is we also don't want to use content creators that have a negative connotation, whether everything they talk about is negative and negative and negative, and that's just
Yeah,
not really
of
our thing.
course.
For me, it's all about positivity. It's all about positivity and keeping things positive. And obviously, I don't want any content creator. I want every, just like my artist. I want content creators to be able to express themselves. If they like something about the game, great. If they don't like something about the game, great. But don't
Mm,
make it all about negative. No, you don't have to make it all negative. You don't have to make it all positive. You can just be you and be the content creator. We want, like when I work with content creators, like I've always told content creators, is just be you. You
yeah.
don't have to be anything for me. I said just be you. People love you. People follow you because of who you are, and that's all. Just be you. And so yeah, so the content creator program will be launched fairly soon here. There'll be a form available tomorrow, I believe, that people could sign up and give us like some of their handles on
Hmm.
social, at least so we can vet them and everything like that. And then that'll give them access to certain things like early access to product or promotional items or things that they can stream and use on their channels as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to be available, because that conversation I had in Orlando with Ted, and he was like, "Man, we should do that." I'm like, "Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do it." And so we're going to be doing that for many content creators like yourself and other people out there. So,
I gotta definitely will apply for that.
oh, absolutely, that'd be really
And
awesome.
yeah, it's similar to Made a Zoo that I applied for the content creator and they gave me a card. It says they're content
It's a medal.
creator. Ah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a medal.
it's a medal.
So
It's a medal card. Yeah.
so do you plan for like cards for content creator, like simple, just like the Made a Zoo,
Yeah,
or
we might do something like that. Not exactly like that. We may actually create, like, I think what we're gonna have is I love the gladiator,
hmm.
and I know you can see, I don't know if you can see this, but the gladiator,
Nice.
and we're gonna have multiple of these guys in the game with different views and looks. They're gonna look different. Obviously, there was a lot of different gladiators in the time of Roman times, so we might just give our content creators a gladiator card that's kind of like a creator, like a content creator gladiator, but
Yeah.
it just be a gladiator stamped with something there. So we could easily do that. It's not a problem at all.
Yeah, some
But
of
I
these.
rather,
Mhm.
honestly, I'd rather just give you a card than just give you a little card one time. I'd rather give you access to things all the time.
Yeah, correct.
And so for me, that's more important than just say, "Oh, here's a card, you know, thank you." And I'd rather just give you something that's always happening, it's always recurring. Like every month, hey, we got this. Content creators, you have an opportunity. You have to submit for it. They'll submit, and it's a quick submission, like saying, "Yes, I want one of these little kits." We want to perform these little kits every month. So we're gonna have multiple kits. We're gonna have LGS kits. We're gonna have content creator kits, and we
Mm.
want to put things in there, things that you can put out there and create content around, or at least showcase to your followers and your subscribers. So that's gonna be something that we want to do every month. Probably either after Kickstarter releases or even before then. So that's something we're still planning on, but we don't want to just give you a card,
Yeah.
because the card thing is nice and it gives you recognition for like a minute, but we want to be able to kind of say, here is content creators we work with. If you want to find out more about this, visit these content creators, because they receive kits from us that have information about what we're doing. The other thing too, I think is also important, for content creators is always to be in the know, always to know, kind of know what's happening within the game. So
Mm-hmm.
we're also going to be creating a content creator channel only on Discord
Mm-hmm.
that will have all the content creators in there.
Yeah.
And then someone like Jock, which is our head of events, or myself, will put out information out there to let you know what's happening, what's releasing when, and just keep you in the loop with information about the game.
Yeah, that's a really good plan because for us content creators, we go through different TCGs, and sometimes we don't have time to go through the threads
Yeah,
that people are talking about. And then
yeah,
if we have just one channel that we can get all the announcements, the updates, then we can grab that and then we can tell the community, right?
of course.
So that's a really good
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah,
And
so the plan is to have a kit for you guys, have a kit for content creators for LGSs, and we might even have a kit for streamers as well in the future.
mhm,
That's something we're still looking at. Um, and then obviously have a channel specific to content creators, so that way you don't have to look through everything, and you just kind of
yes,
go right to that channel, and you'll know that everything there pertains to content creators.
yeah, I love that. And yeah, so you have 440 members on the Discord right now. So can you please invite the viewers to your game and some other channels you have?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, I believe the best way to find all of our channels, we use something called Linktree. And it's gonna be the
Oh
best
yeah,
way to find all of our channels. It's just go.
yep.
So actually, you can visit our. If you just visit one channel, which is Instagram, and you find us on their official underscore Titan TCG, you go
Hmm.
to Instagram there. The link tree in our profile will give you links to Discord, to everything, right? The
Everything.
YouTube, Facebook, the whole thing. So just go there. Website, everything's there.
Yeah, and I will put the all everything the links in the description below. And yeah, and I think that's it. Thank you
Perfect.
so
Sounds
much.
good.
Thank you so
Well,
much,
thank
Mike,
you. And
for your time.
as I say in your native country, salamat. Thank you so much for your help. And no, it's just amazing. It's been amazing doing a show with you. And I'll be honest with you. I confess. I said to my team, I said, why do I see Ben doing all these? He's doing interviews with all these different TCGs, and I haven't talked to him about our stuff. I said, can somebody reach out to him, please, and say we want to do a video. And I think
Oh yeah.
it might have been Jeeps, or it might have been somebody else from our team that reached out
Mhm.
to do this interview. But I appreciate it, and just want to say thank you for everything you do as well. Which you do amazing videos, and you cover off all these amazing TCGs. So thank you for doing that, and keep up the great work. And I hope to do more of these with you in the near future.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Yeah, Jeeps, and there's one I forgot the name because it's a little bit long.
Kentucky Hellhound.
Oh yeah, that one.
That's Jock.
Uh,
That's Jock. That's our head of our
he
events.
he PM or DM'd me, and then I thought that it was a spam because the name is like there's so many characters,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
I said, oh man, this is something spam again, and then Jeeps told me that it's legit. So anyway,
yeah.
then yeah, and then I contacted you, and then everything is good.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
All
Well,
right,
thank you again so
thanks
much.
for
And
your time, and
yeah, absolutely. And
so
then please,
guys, yeah, don't forget to check Titan TCG on Discord and join the community. Then also you can go to the Instagram as well. Thanks for watching, and then see you in the next video. Bye. Bye, Mike.
bye bye.
Thank you.